Okay, we're live now. Hello everyone, welcome to the Invisible Gamecast, brought to you by Invisible Gamer. We were gone last week. I don't really even remember why. I think that our wires were just crossed too many times, but we're back this week. We have a really good show for you, but we're going to introduce ourselves. So my name's Gabe Gurwin. God, he's doing it again. Down there is Michael Burns.
Hi.
Next to him is Brien Bell.
It's really hot here, guys.
I can
really
tell.
hot.
Your hair's poofing up a little bit.
It was perfect here until the brownie thing happened, and I can't turn on the AC because we're doing a show. So it's going to be worse.
That's the definition of first world problems.
The AC's on
it's
here,
too hot because you're
but
making
you cannot
brownies.
feel it.
Anyway, and then we have the newbie on the show this week, Austin Clark.
Hey, everybody.
He's only a newbie to the show, though. He's actually been doing a regular column for us every week for the past 4 weeks. And
yeah, and either by the not it's
amazing.
not up right now. It's either going to be up later tonight or sometime tomorrow. He's been doing a column called Retro Weekends, which is I think my favorite thing we've been doing recently.
It's fun.
Really, really good.
I like doing it.
And I'm happy that you're doing it because I like to see more talk about old games on the site. So, and I don't have time to do it.
I like getting time to play retro games because I never get a chance to. Now I just force myself. Well,
yeah, that's kind of how it's the opposite for me. I force myself to play my PS4, even though like I'm enjoying the games. I'd much rather play something old. It's just, yeah.
What, you're not going to play Rogue Legacy next week?
No, but I might play.
Old,
I'm not into
like
it
last year
at all, but I might play Last of Us Remastered.
I ordered that.
Which has Left Behind.
That's what. Yeah, that was the confusion. I
think you've just got Left Eye Lopez on the brain.
Maybe. I tried to get us a review copy, but to no avail.
Okay, our original review copy was, what, a week late? So
That's true.
Not surprised.
Well, I mean, my guy's out on vacation, so there you go.
Your guy.
True.
My guy.
We have a guy.
I think I should know who that guy is, but we'll talk about that later. Anyway, so
He's
we
my
actually
guy
do
that
have,
left Nintendo for PlayStation.
That's right. So we actually do have a lot of Sony stuff to talk about today. This was not intentional, but that's just kind of how the cookie crumbles, and I don't feel like trying to balance it out when it doesn't warrant it. So
Sometimes you feel like a PlayStation, and sometimes you don't.
So we already know, obviously, that this generation we're seeing a lot of HD remasters of games, and The Last of Us is, I guess, a good example of a game that came very, very soon after its original version, only about a year, about 13 months. But obviously we thought maybe they're making a sequel, but now we know they are mulling over ideas. And Tristan gave us a really good piece. This is from, the source was from Invisible Gamer, excuse me, we are Invisible Gamer, from videogamer.com. And they said, it'd be doing a disservice to ourselves and our fans if they didn't look over, ideas for the sequel. And I just kind of wanted to throw this out there, like, do you guys want a sequel to The Last of Us?
No.
And neither do I.
I think the sequel that we got with Left Behind was the sequel that I wanted, and it was the prequel.
Mm-hmm.
So
Honestly, I would be totally happy with something that's concurrent with the story and less weighty. Like if it's just like actually like The Road, where it's a couple of people just trying to get from point A to point B to survive, and that's it. That would be great. But it did.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that would flow with the mainstream audience, because like, let's be honest, although this is considered like the apex of storytelling in video games, this sold 7 million copies.
To too many people, I think. I would argue that is okay for Left Behind. That is accurate for Left Behind, but I think too many people were seduced by the overall presentation.
Oh, I agree with you on that. I thought the game was great, but I didn't think that the story was as well written as people seem to think it is. And I think that's okay in this medium, and I don't think that's even a flaw, knocking the writing or anything. But I think it's okay to have something like that in video games because there is that interactivity there, and you're trying to they want you to be able to kind of feel like you're still in control even when you're not. That was the big thing with BioShock 2. TOO, not TWO. But I think I'm just going to kind of flow into the next thing. When the BioShock, or excuse me, The Last of Us movie comes out, that might come to light.
See,
Austin, are you a Last of Us fan? Have you played it?
Yeah, I'm a pretty big fan of it. I enjoyed it. But when talking about like a sequel, I feel like the weight of the ending, without spoiling it, a sequel would just kind of ruin that.
Yeah, right. That's why I say don't.
And I think that's kind of the whole point. A direct sequel with those characters would be, I think, a slap in the face. But even something in the same universe, I think, would kind of take something away from the whole point that, oh, this is set in a world with these things, but it's about the characters, and that's something that I never really buy with games like this. The characters are great in The Last of Us, but that's kind of it's going to be hard to really convince people that it's funny. I'm reading from this Deadline article about this, and you just mentioned The Road, and Viggo Mortensen staring me in the face at the bottom of the page. Anyway,
have you guys actually read the book?
I have, and I hate it. Not the story. I just
you hate Cormac. That's right, Cormac.
Yes,
McCarthy.
I just hate the way he writes.
Well, let's move on then.
So
amazing.
But the producer of this is, I guess it's going to be Sam Raimi, which is pretty cool.
Does that even mean anything anymore, honestly?
I don't know. I mean, Spider-Man 3 sucked, but the first two were great, and he did do The Evil Dead, and he still has a role in the new ones, so...
And I haven't seen Cabin in the Woods, but I heard that was pretty good. And
I didn't even know he had hand... Oh, no. Wait.
Oh, that was Joss Whedon. That was Joss.
Yeah.
I was, what's the other one that Raimi did a while back? It was another horror film.
It was Evil Dead.
Well, yeah, the new Evil Dead, but there was another one, too.
I have no idea.
Sam Raimi's Creepy Crawlies? I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So we were kind of arguing about this earlier a little, not arguing, discussing. Let's be fair. Who should be playing the roles if it is Joel and Ellie, which apparently it's going to be, which I think is a huge mistake, because we already know that story, and I think it'd be stupid just to retell it.
But that's the thing. We know the story, but millions of people who haven't played the games don't
play the games. Why are you making a movie?
People who didn't play the game.
7 million people played the game.
But who is going to want to see this movie? This movie is being made for people who played the games already.
Exactly. People who did not play the game are not going to go see the movie.
Yeah, that's my point. Anyway, but
I think you're underestimating the appeal of the zombie movie genre.
I think
that
people
draws in millions of
I
people.
don't know how World War Z did so well, but I think people don't care anymore.
I think you're wrong about that.
World War Z was garbage.
I don't doubt that.
A good book.
Anyway, the two leads for this, one of them makes a lot of sense. So Josh Brolin was actually what Troy Baker based Joel on, and I think it's what they based the writing of the character on, just his kind of gruff demeanor. Hugh Jackman's the other one, who I actually like more, just as an actor, than Josh Brolin. I think he's really good.
I like them both. I wouldn't mind either of them personally.
And they're both the right age. They both got that gruff, past their prime, but still gonna kill you sort of physique. And
I think that we should give Richard Armitage a shot.
I don't even know who that is.
He's the new hotness since the Hobbit movies came out. He's Thorin.
The little troll, or not, the little dwarf?
Yes, definitely the troll. He looks good.
Oakenshield. I know who Thorin is. I read The Hobbit.
Yeah, he looks good in a beard, so
okay.
I'm sure
that would be funny. Now, we were talking about this too.
Or Austin. Austin could do it.
Yeah, I got a little rough right here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So the lead for, I guess the lead choice to play Ellie right now is Maisie Williams from Game of Thrones, who's like 16 years old, so it would kind of make sense. I don't know. I'm not crazy about that choice, not because of her in particular, but just because I really don't want them to just pick the same time period. Maybe if they made this a movie about some way past the game, where they could have an older Ellie, or maybe it'd be told with flashbacks or something, that would work. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
Ellen Page.
She would not do this after what she said about the game.
For sure. I'm not going to see the movie if Ellen Page doesn't play that character. And her best friend.
If they keep the movie the same as the game, then it's a fine choice. But I'm with you. I don't really want to see that again, especially because they're gonna have to condense everything, just like every movie's got to do.
What is that in the middle of your top shelf? Is it Elder Scrolls?
Middle top shelf. No, I think that's a God of War box.
Got it. In front of Batman? Sorry.
Yep.
Swag. I like it.
If it does take place during the events of the game, then I think Maisie Williams is a good choice. If it takes place after, who cares? Find someone who looks close to the part.
You know, Brian, I think you're actually the authoritative opinion on staff, so I want to know who your top 3 choices are for that
For
role.
Ellie?
Yeah.
It's hard because I don't follow. If we're going by the game and they're going to be doing an adaptation of the game, then I think your first choices are Maisie Williams, and then what's her name from the Kick-Ass movies?
Chloe Grace Moretz. That's such a
Chloe
cop
Grace
out one.
Moretz.
No, I was thinking about that.
It's a total cop-out, but how many young, talented actresses are there out there who can pull off the badass role?
What if Ron Jeremy played Joel?
What if Ron Jeremy played Ellie?
I'll go see it.
I would see that so
I
fast.
would too.
I'm there.
And I don't mean play
Porno
with
title for
Ellie.
The Last of Us B.
I don't mean
no,
play with
that's already
Ellie.
been made. The Lust of Ass.
The Last of Us.
And with that, let's move on to the next topic.
Good ones. I like that.
Who else though, Brian? We're not moving on.
One more.
Oh man. See, I don't know that many young child actresses right now.
Maybe
my
that's a
problem.
good thing.
Well, they don't have to be children.
They can
They can be in their 20s.
True. I mean, that is how most parts are cast.
Yeah, I was watching just one of the
I don't
guys
know.
last night, and all of the leads were 28, and they were supposed to be high school students.
Well, I mean, I shouldn't know this, but in Glee, most of those, like, the dude who OD'd, he was like 30-something, and he was playing a high school student.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's fine if you don't have 3, Brian.
I don't have 3.
I'm
and
kind
I'm
of
sorry
okay
about
with that, with you not knowing that many
Well,
child actresses.
yeah, thank you. I appreciate your being okay with me not knowing
It's kind of my job
teenage
to know, but I
actresses.
don't either.
Wait, no, you know who'd be really good? What's her name? She played, she was the lead in Little Miss Sunshine.
Oh, Abigail Breslin.
Yeah, her.
Is
She'd
she?
be good. That's actually.
She's still
I was
alive?
trying to think of her too.
Yeah, she's still alive.
Wow.
She hasn't been in that much lately.
She's been
At least you don't see her
in
name in it.
Zombieland.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
the little-
Zombieland was like
Yeah.
She wasn't
3 or 4 years ago.
Well, yeah, but now she, isn't tiny
Be-
anymore, so.
She'd be a good Ellie.
Yeah, I mean, she's already got the zombie killing down, so. Anyway, so this was on NeoGAF, I guess, initially, and then it got leaked. It looks, is that an official website you found, Brian?
It is an official website, but since they leaked it on NeoGAF, it's been taken down from that website.
Huh. Okay. Well, I guess that means that.
And what we're talking about is...
Okay, so Sony
Gamescom
unofficially
lineup.
announced their Gamescom lineup. And so now we know most of these games aren't big surprises, like Hardline, Bloodborne, Counter Spy, which we already knew was coming to the system. Surgeon Simulator, did we know that was coming?
Yeah, that had been announced a
I
while
didn't
back.
even know that. Lego Batman 3, Far Cry 4, a lot of those games we already knew. But a few that we don't are, well, again, PS3 games that are being ported to the PS4. So The Unfinished Swan, which I was a little bit surprised about. Journey, well, I'm happy about it, but I don't think anyone's surprised about that one.
No. In fact, that game company, one of their designers tweeted that they thought that was coming back around when the PS4 launched.
Huh, okay.
Not that it was coming around when the PS4 launched, but they announced.
Okay.
He tweeted something like, "Oh yeah, Flower and Flow are coming, and Journey's coming soon too."
Brian, you're Randy tonight.
Randy.
You guys heard how many times he said that word? Look at the chat.
Yeah, I'm looking at the chat.
Wah, wah,
Okay,
wah,
you got a dirty
wah,
mouth.
wah. Yeah.
I've never heard of Super Exploding Zoo. Is that a thing that people knew about?
I
It's
just
something.
read about it.
I
like,
want it.
yesterday.
I want it in my life right now. I don't even know
They're-
what it is.
Super
think it's about
exploding zoo.
Yeah.
It looks like some kind of video game, if I'm not mistaken.
So anyway, on the Vita, that was just PS4 games I was talking about. Besides Hatsune Miku for all your Domino's Pizza needs, there's the Sly Trilogy, which isn't that already out?
No, just the Thieves in Time.
I think it suffered the same fate as Jack, the Jack trilogy for Vita.
That came out too.
Yeah, but it took like a year.
Okay, I thought that. I thought that came out already. Invisimals. Why do they still make these games?
Because there are still children in the world.
I guess, but I've never heard one kid talk about Invisimals before.
Well, that's because they're invisible. And if you talk about them, they...
I see. It's like Fight Club. Can we just talk about for a second that Fight Club 2 is going to be a graphic novel, and I really want to slap Chuck Palahniuk in the face.
Why?
If you didn't want to slap Chuck Palahniuk in the face before that was announced, then I think you need to question.
I
lot
like
of
Chuck
things.
Palahniuk, so shut your mouth. But I just don't want. I don't want a sequel to a book like that. PlayStation Vita Pets is a thing. The Ratchet and Clank trilogy, which I'm actually excited about because I've never played those games. Yeah, those about sum up the big ones, and Freedom Wars, which might be the last big AAA game we actually get on the Vita because they all hate it. I don't know.
So does this mean that we're not getting Gravity Rush 2 ever?
Well, I mean that is still coming.
It's still
I
coming.
think.
But what
maybe.
about in the West? Because didn't they say there may be no more AAA games in the West, or did that mean developed in the
I
West?
think they meant like associated with the West. I assume. Did that even have dialogue in?
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Did it?
Gravity Rush is basically a Hayao Miyazaki movie. Game. Yeah,
I
it's
don't
the
agree with
best.
that, but I did play that game and reviewed it.
Did
but I
you
don't-
have you seen Kiki's Delivery Service?
Yes.
It's essentially the same story.
I mean, it's in the sky, but
No, you go around helping people to fit in. It's literally the same story as Kiki's Delivery Service. That's why I love it so much.
there's no bad guys in any of like most of Miyazaki's movies, and you're fighting like the darkness from Kingdom Hearts,
Let's see.
basically.
Nausicaa, bad guys. Castle of the Sky, bad guys. Totoro, no bad guys. Kiki, no bad guys. Porco Rosso, bad guys. Need I go on? I'm looking at all the films on my shelf right now.
Okay, well, most of his films do not have
Yeah,
bad
how
guys.
about this? It's
made a
like
point of that.
Kiki's Delivery Service with bad guys.
That's
Ah.
bad.
But
I still
anyway,
need to finish that
Austin
game.
knows.
no. But
I'm not.
But
kidding,
if that's the last one, I'm going to be really disappointed because this system is as much of an indie darling as it is. Like it was still $200. It's still $200 when people buy it now, and they advertised it, and I bought it because I wanted to be playing some, basically PS3 level games on the go.
You're playing indie games on your PC, right?
I don't even have a PC. I have a Mac.
Okay, but people play indie games on their personal computers,
Right.
And people are
Personal
complaining. They're
computers.
complaining about a system that plays indie games when you probably spent more than $200 on your PC, which does a lot more stuff. Granted, yes, but I'm sick of people complaining that a game system plays games.
But it doesn't do what they said it was going to do. That's the whole point. Like, a lot of these games are, I mean, they're like $2 games that they're giving away at this point. I mean, PS Plus, they have given away some good ones, Salai, Muramasa, but, I mean, think about, like, what they had ready for fall of last year compared to what they have ready for fall of this year, and there's just not very much.
No, I agree. There needs to be
I
more.
bought for my system, I bought within the first, like, year and a half.
This sums up the Vita's prospects in a weird way. I haven't charged my Vita in months because I've been using the charging cable to charge my PSP Go.
Well, that's nuts, but
Yeah, a little bit.
That's so I can play Final Fantasy Type 0 in English, though.
okay.
Well, soon you can remote play that on your Vita over
Impossible.
PS4.
That's
Whoa.
the dumbest way. Who is going to spend $200 so that they can play a PS4 game in another room? If you already have the system,
Nobody.
yeah. I mean, if you already have the system, it's cool, but it's even for me, it's a novelty. I've
I
done it
was
like
more
five.
just saying. I was more just saying that because of the bad move that Sony made by saying, "Oh yeah, Type Zero is coming to Vita," but no, really, it's actually just coming to PS4.
I don't want it on PS4. Sorry, guys. Did you guys see that they sent some sort of legal communication to the team that did the fan translation?
Mm-mm.
But it
Yeah.
wasn't, Square did, but it wasn't a cease and desist. Like, originally it was reported as one. I didn't see what it ultimately ended up being, though.
I haven't heard
But
anything.
either way, I
since
haven't. I still say it's an excellent game, and if you can stomach Final Fantasy anymore, like, you will love it. But the series in general is just irrelevant at this point. So
I'm assuming a couple weeks ago you guys talked about the fact that the plan for the BioShock Vita game was to be a Final Fantasy Tactics style game, right?
nope, we didn't talk about that.
We didn't. No, I think that was in the break when we didn't have a show. But
Yeah.
yeah.
That would have been cool. That would have been a
Yeah.
great AAA game, but darn 2K didn't want to get on it because they
Honestly,
didn't.
I kind of would have been cool
sell
with
the
that,
system.
but
I wouldn't. I
What do
wouldn't
you
have played it.
would you want it to be a real BioShock, or would you just not care at all?
I would want it to be a first-person shooter
Okay.
because I like my portable games. It's my wheelhouse.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I'd be cool with it being a first-person shooter too, but turn-based strategy is one of my favorite genres, and I feel like maybe
There's
if
just so many of them though on handhelds already, and so many amazing ones. And there aren't amazing first-person shooters on handhelds.
it's like the exact opposite problem that we have with consoles. It's like we
Mhm.
literally saying the reverse of this if we were talking about a console game. I mean, think about when they announced the Bureau. Before it was the Bureau, when it was just XCOM, and people lost their minds because they were mad that they weren't going to be getting a strategy
I
game.
was there. I was that person.
Oh yeah.
I was angry.
And then the Bureau sucked.
And then you got your strategy game.
Yeah,
Which
which is
was awesome.
amazing. Yeah.
Still amazing.
So
I still
speaking
want that
of
to come to
hopefully
PS4.
amazing, but probably okay, and sort of all right. EA has delayed Battlefield Hardline all the way to 2015.
No.
We say all the way, but it's only a
No.
2-month delay at the most, probably. It's gonna come out in the first quarter.
What did you think of Hardline, Austin? Into it at
I
all?
didn't like it at
You
all.
didn't what? Oh. But they had zip lines. Zip lines through the city. Can't do that in real life.
I don't like it. I hated the disconnect. Like, why these cops are destroying that city, and it just felt like it should be Battlefield 4, not a whole new game.
The weird thing though, man, I wrote this story and I was reading about what's this dude's name? It's very Swedish. Carl Magnus Trudsen. He wrote this post and gave the reasons for why. So the first one is the obvious one, polish. They don't want to release a broken, because Battlefield 4 wasn't just a buggy game; it was broken. Like, this was a game that was probably should have been in like alpha state when it was released. It was terribly broken. And so, I mean, that's the obvious one. But besides that, multiplayer innovation. This seems to be the feedback they got from the beta was really feedback that, I mean, when a game's in beta, there's no features being added, so it was really like an alpha test, and they're kind of I wouldn't say it's designed by committee, but it's kind of designed by committee. And then the last one is single-player story depth, and the way they worded this makes me think they are rewriting the game.
Hopefully.
Well, maybe first quarter is being optimistic then.
Maybe it will come out and it will be the Zelda 64 of Battlefield games.
It'll be the Alan Wake of Battlefield, but honestly, I think you do have. People crap on EA a lot, but I think you do have to give them a little bit of credit for this, because they're at least warning we can't release games that are this broken. We have to wait, and they're not just annualizing it if it's not ready out the door. So.
And this is visceral,
I'm not worried.
right?
Yeah, with a little bit of support from DICE, which is why I think they mentioned it. I'm guessing that DICE must have some sort of overseeing role to make sure that they're getting the game right. But from the demos I saw, as far as getting Battlefield feeling Battlefield-y, it looks like that. I think that's part of the problem, though, is because this game's supposed to be, like, cops and robbers that it shouldn't just resemble Battlefield 4 like it does.
Right.
Yeah,
Um,
it's definitely not. It's definitely more on the less on the Payday 2 side of the scale and more on the destroy everything side of the scale.
which,
Right.
to be honest, how could they do Battlefield and make it like Payday 2? I feel like maybe EA should have just made a new IP with these sort of ideas and continued Battlefield in its more traditional sense, but
Well,
um,
I wonder why they want to annualize Battlefield clearly, but why not go back to the Bad Company series? If
and
it
that's the
wasn't
thing that's so
selling
strange.
as great as Battlefield, it
They
was
say like
selling
they don't
well.
know why people liked it so much, which kind of worries me. They said like, well, was it
I
the characters or was it like I played a little
I
bit of Bad
really
Company
liked
too,
it.
and I couldn't get into it as much. But I think it's just because I didn't play for very long.
I love the single player story of Bad Company too. I did engage with the characters. I did engage with the locations and the story
Yeah,
more than I've engaged with most first person shooter stories.
yeah. I mean, and even Battlefield 3, the single player was super boring. Like it worked perfectly fine, but it was just boring. The funny thing though, I think I mentioned this, but there's a book that came out. There's actually another one that came out with Battlefield 4, but Battlefield 3, The Russian. It's a novel written by Andy McNabb, who's this. I guess he's a former secret special forces guy, and his face is always blurred out. He's kind of an asshole, but the book's actually really, really good. It's a lot better than the game. Um, but I just thought this was strange the way that they're wording all
Hmm.
this. The other part of this, though, and we'll kind of go into a wider topic of just fleeing October. So before Shadow of Mordor and Dragon Age Inquisition were scheduled to release on the same day. I believe it was like October 30th. It was
Maybe
around then.
no, it was October 7th or 14th.
Okay, was it earlier?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you might be right. So now, a little over a month ahead, Dragon Age Inquisition is now coming out on November 18th, which honestly, November is not as crowded as it usually is because October is the month to go for this year, I guess. But now, Shadow Mordor is not hitting October either. It's actually releasing earlier, in September. So, do you think that these games are going to be like the games that are still in October are going to be negatively affected by having so many other games around the same time, or do you think people are wise enough to pick their purchases, knowing what's coming for the whole fall?
I
I think
think
people
Warner.
are going to spend what they're going to spend.
Because the one game that I'm a little bit worried about just because of when it's releasing is Sunset Overdrive, because it's a new IP. It's coming for a console that doesn't have a very big hardware install base right now, and it looks great, but it's coming right in the middle of that stuff, right when Assassin's Creed is coming out.
It has its day pretty much all to itself, though, right? I don't
A
know what else
day,
it's
yes,
releasing.
but that's around
Yeah.
I mean the same month, couple weeks. I'm
Yeah.
I know most people don't get a game every couple weeks like I do during the fall because it's when I
True.
spend like all my money for the year.
I have the perfect marketing slogan for that game, but I'll never play it.
Sunset Overdrive?
Sunset Overdrive. It's actually an exclusive.
Yeah, I'm not sure they'd use that. So why would you not play it? Just because it's on the system?
Yeah, because I'm not going to get an Xbox One.
Okay.
Is anybody
Um,
interested for Dragon Age? Because I keep
I
seeing
If I
actually
had an X1, I would get it.
I can't
I
get into
am,
it.
and I hated 2. I thought 2 was a real big letdown.
Ever since the first game was way compromised on consoles, I felt stiffed and won't play the series. But I love me some Mass Effect.
Yeah, I'm like
Yep.
the way I got into the series is because Mass Effect 2 wasn't out yet, and I wanted to play that, and I didn't realize that, so I went to the store and like they gave me Dragon Age 2. So that was my first my first introduction, and not the best one because Dragon Age 2 is a generic, boring, repetitive, derivative uh, game. But Inquisition looks like it's fixing a lot of those problems, and this is really shallow, but that box art is so pretty to me. I really like it.
Do you guys know the story of how Brien actually convinced EA to bring the first Mass Effect to PS3?
No.
I'm not kidding.
I
You
think
know that
you're
there was
exaggerating, but okay.
there was a BioWare Sacramento for a little bit, right? It's true, there was. They were making,
There was. There's, in
and
fact, technically the team is still here.
So Brian went to BioWare Sacramento not knowing that all they were doing was social games, and he basically camped out in front of their offices for 2 weeks straight with Bring Mass Effect 1 to PS3 painted across his naked body. And he kept getting taken away. He kept coming back. Finally,
Did you flash some alien side boob?
they filed a restraining order, but not to be deterred, Brian drove all the way to EA in, was it Redwood?
Redmond.
Yeah.
And was like, look, I've been out there for 2 weeks, naked. These guys wouldn't even talk to me. They wouldn't even, like, give me a thumbs up. Please, the PlayStation Nation needs the first third of the series. And they're like, okay, but you could never come back here. And
What are the
2
nudity
weeks later,
laws
it was
in
released.
California?
And, you know, I tried the same thing on Wii U, but it didn't work.
I'm never going to get elected to public office just because of that long, long story, Michael.
Wait,
I think you will. In fact, I think people will see how much you're willing to work for them, because you were not just representing yourself. You were representing thousands of people who wanted to play that game.
Hold on, is that an actual aspiration of yours?
No.
Okay.
Thank goodness it's
Full
not.
disclosure, everything I said for the past
He disclosed
year and a
everything.
half was actually true. I mean, the facts are, it adds up. You guys know Mass Effect is on PS3, so
Someone had to do it.
Now, who was responsible for getting Bioshock 1 on PS3?
Not me. Probably my roommate.
I was
Sounds
out
about
there
right.
naked that time.
Oh boy. What are we even talking about anymore?
And we're not drinking anything this week.
does anybody care about the Shadow of Mordor at all?
Not yet. I think
I'm curious.
I think it looks like Assassin's Creed, which makes me sort of interested, but the whole thing that they're promising with, like, enemies will remember you, I think sounds like total buzzword bullshit.
I always get my curiosity piqued when they say things like they said today at Comic-Con, that like the wraith of the main character is Celebrimbor, who like helped Sauron forge the rings. Like, that kind of stuff excites me.
I don't care about Middle-earth at all.
But then I realized I never want to play a Middle-earth video game. I mean, I liked Lego The Hobbit, but I don't. Whatever, I'll read the books again.
Yeah, and even the books, like, I can only read The Hobbit. I don't like The Lord of the Rings at all. There's too much.
It's a long series.
Busy man. I've
Just
got
one
Plants vs. Zombies Garden
series.
Warfare to get back to. So you have my attention for about 10 minutes.
I can't wait for that to come to PS4.
Oh, I'm enjoying it right now. Literally right now. It's in the other... no. So, this, I guess it shouldn't come as too much of a surprise, and I don't know what it actually is going to mean, but I guess Wii U purchase intent rose by about 50% after E3, and they put on a very good show.
They did.
Do any of you think this is going to last?
Wii U.
I think it's gonna last, but I don't know. Did any of you see what I posted? The link that I posted on Facebook a few days ago from The Guardian?
Refresh me.
A Guardian reporter wrote a story called "Nintendo is Back," and it was based on that poll, the post E3 poll with the 50% purchase intent increase, and it was based on Mario Kart 8 is out and Smash Brothers is out, and oh, by the way, there are these other games that, like, now that you're buying a Wii U, everything that came out over the past 2 years is great too, so you should buy that. And I was like half joking when I said this is typical mainstream BS. But it is the same thing that happens with every the same thing that happens with every Nintendo console cycle recently, where it's like it starts out doom and gloom, and then everybody is like, "Oh, Nintendo, you did it again," and then everybody says, "It's so trite to say never count out Nintendo, but we always do." Anyway.
But let's be fair. It was a year and a half ago that the Wii U launched at this point, a little bit more. And
2 years almost.
Yeah, I mean, in November it'll be 2 years. With the 3DS, people said, well, cut the price and release games for it and people buy it, and they were correct. And that was, the system came out, in May of 2011? And then by November it was selling like hotcakes, so that was only a period of about 6 months. This is going to be almost 4 times that long, and people are still not sure what the system's going to do. And they've already released a ton of games for it. Well, not a ton, but enough.
But what I'm getting at is that honestly, the sort of the popular opinion is actually swayed by the press. So if you have 100 articles over the past year from people saying the Wii U is dead, then that sentiment is going to trickle down to the consumer because they read online the Wii U is dead, and then so they told their friend the Wii U is dead, and their friend said to somebody else the Wii U is dead, and so nobody's buying it. But now the mainstream press is doing the exact opposite, and everybody's saying the Wii U is back, baby, and now people are buying it. It's
well, I think
it's all.
I think that's correct what you said, but I think it's also sort of justified because Nintendo finally gave people at the show a reason to, why they might want to buy a new system, because there's going to be, new exciting things on it.
I'm just saying there's been great software for the past 12 months, solid. So. But
I'm not sure enough of it was enough for most people to want to buy the system because it was very, very spread out. And
but what software that was announced at E3 are actually games that people would buy the system for, besides Smash Brothers and Zelda?
Well, Smash Brothers and Zelda. Those are reasons enough for people to buy the system, along with Mario Kart, I think.
I mean, and Mario Kart. I mean, yeah, I'm excited for all that stuff, but like you said, there's lots of people that aren't going to be into Captain Toad. I don't know. It's just weird to me how it always happens this way.
Kind of frustrating, for someone who has a Wii U and likes it, to then look at a PS4 and Xbox One and be like, what games are out for these systems? Yet they're destroying in sales.
Yeah, but the software is not necessarily there. There's a couple.
Well, that's true, but the systems have been out for a very short amount of time, and the software's been coming more consistently. Right? No,
but we're just saying that despite that there aren't that many titles, it's still selling like crazy.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that is just that they did a very, very, very good job marketing the PS4 to people, whereas Nintendo's marketing of the Wii U from the start has been terrible. It's been horrible.
Fair warning.
You can get this tablet that goes with your Wii. Wait, no, that's not right at all.
And then Reggie has to step in front of Jimmy Fallon and say, no, that's not correct, Jimmy.
I just want you guys to know it's hot and sticky here, but there's about to be a brownie and some cold milk in my face.
You are evil. I want cold milk.
But if someone asks me now if they should buy a Wii U, my answer is yes, because there are enough games for it. But more often than not, I'll mention the Wii U, and what do you think my response is that I get from people? What's a Wii U? Yeah, that's not good.
Do you think the Amiibos are gonna do anything?
Yes.
I think they're awesome.
Absolutely.
I think they're gonna be a hit, especially with the little kids.
I think they're gonna be.
Actually, I think they're gonna be a hit, especially with big kids.
Yeah. I was gonna say. I think Skylanders didn't really have the IP behind it. Neither did. Well, no, Disney Infinity did, but Disney's obviously marketed very specifically to the younger audience, whereas Nintendo has kind of been marketed to everyone in a sense, and there's so much nostalgia behind these characters. I think this is going to be really big. especially since it's going to be on 3DS as well, which might be detrimental to this actually selling systems. But yeah,
Funny anecdote. So I mentioned earlier that there was a child in my apartment yesterday. It was my friend's nephew, and my friend had played the Wii U over at my apartment. Had never played one before. Was just like blown away by it. It was like, remembering playing Nintendo games as a kid. So he bought the Wii U for his nephew, which was his first game console. The kid's 9. Really sweet kid. But so he's visiting from San Francisco, or from California anyway, and they asked if they could come over and play games, and I was like, yeah, I've got everything, and I just assumed he would want to like run through everything and play every system and whatever, but all he wanted to do was play the Wii U games that he already has, and so we played like Mario Kart and Nintendo Land and a little bit of Minecraft, and I think it's great to see. I mean, for me as a Nintendo fan, it's great to see kids are still into that stuff, even though they have like all the other cheaper options now.
yeah. I mean, working at a summer camp this summer, I've seen so many kids with their 3DSs, and then they get yelled at because they're not supposed to have video games with them at camp. But
Bastards.
but yeah, a lot. There's 2 groups of kids I've seen at camp playing video games. It's the kids playing their 3DSs and taking pictures and stuff, and then people with tablets playing Minecraft, and that's it.
No Vitas?
And that's all they talk about too. No. Surprising, right?
I will high five the first kid that I see with a Vita. I will just go right up to them and high five, yo.
No,
Do you
be like,
guys
"Get
ever
away from
see
me, what are you
Vitas
doing?"
in public?
That was
Like,
a
around?
I think
that was
I
actually
saw-
a Game Informer article from last year. It said Vita spotted in public.
No, I was asking because I do see them like at least once a week when I'm on this train, but it's always like looks like the person that's playing it always looks like somebody that's out on parole. It's very funny to me.
So not a neckbeard. You're talking like could stab you in broad daylight kind of person.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Huh.
They're probably playing.
Maybe
Those-
maybe that's like how they give you money. Maybe they think that it's just cheaper to just give you a Vita when they leave prison now.
Stay out of trouble. Here you go.
I made myself sad.
I mean, they're just gonna sell it. So
Yeah. Spare Vitas. Oh, you'll just buy booze.
no, Dick. This brownie is so good, by the way, guys. I'm gonna finish it now.
So let's move on. This is something that I'm really scared about, and I was talking to Mike Futter from Game Informer about it, and he wasn't as concerned. But anyway, Google, I guess it's official now. They bought Twitch.
Huh.
$1 billion.
Yeah, I mean, get that Dr. Evil finger out, because this is a big deal, and I'm worried because I felt when. Well, first actually, I just want to see like what your initial reactions to this were.
I was worried when Google bought a company recently, but only because the company is one of my clients, and I thought we were gonna lose the client, but we didn't. So that's my opinion on it.
Oh, okay.
That's good.
They gave us more money instead. Shh. Can we edit this part out, please?
Oh no, I'm not even putting titles in these anymore. They're just going straight up.
You did that last time, but come on. Seth made that music just for you.
I know, but then I have to wake up in the morning and spend 3 hours uploading this thing instead of just changing the description.
Hey. You mean editing and uploading? Because if it takes 3 hours to upload, all you do is click upload and walk away for 3 hours.
No. I have to render these and export them and then upload them.
But that's all an automatic process once you set it to render. So really, it's a first world problem.
Oh, it is, but I still have to wake up in the morning to do it.
And that's your behind the scenes for the Invisible Gamecast this week.
Yeah, I really don't want to do that, Michael, and I'm not going to. But
what about Seth? He's getting married. He's
he
gonna come
is.
back from his honeymoon, and he's gonna find out that you decided to drop all of his music from the shows, and he'll probably get divorced.
You ruined his marriage.
Just one show. Amy's still using his music, and whenever we get another video producer, they're going to be using that music as well. Anyway.
Speaking of which, Invisible Gamers hiring.
I meant that his wife would divorce him because she thought he was cool before.
Oh, okay, yeah. She knew about the podcast before she met him, Especially she was a groupie. Yeah. We actually need to talk about that. So I've been putting it out on Twitter and on Facebook as well, and we'll continue to do this basically. But we are looking for some more people to help us in 3 areas: news reporting, and you can look. I've posted this on Twitter a lot if you want more information, but you can contact me at gabe@invisiblegamer.net. So a news reporter who can do a post about once a week, or excuse me, once a day. A featured columnist who can do a post.
If you're looking for a news reporter who can report once a week, you got one right here.
Yeah. So once a day.
Bad joke. I'm the news editor, everyone. Hi.
Hi.
A featured columnist, just like Austin. Maybe you'll do something like make pizzas like he did.
Were the pizzas good, by the way?
They were actually really good. I was surprised the blue cheese pizza.
Okay, I was about to ask what that actually was.
It
It
was
looked like
literally
blue
colored
confetti.
blue cheese, by the way. Not,
Yeah, it was food coloring. It wasn't.
Yeah,
Like,
I was like, man, he's got like pinata fur on that pizza. But,
nope, that was all legit. Just
mean,
mozzarella.
what I want to know is like because it was a sword, because it was like narrow. Were you able to just like basically slide the whole thing into your mouth, like eat it like that?
Yeah.
Until it was gone. Awesome.
I actually did
afterwards?
the sword swallowing thing.
Okay, having said that, we actually are hiring in 4 places, and the 4th is somebody to make me sword pizzas and feed them to me.
Yeah. Anyway,
In
so
our
the
office.
second
to
featured
Michael
columnist,
Burns.
and you'd be doing a post once a week, 1,000 words or more, unless it's something super creative like making a pizza, in which case we can get a little bit.
2,000 calories or more.
Yeah. Oh,
Shit,
that's good.
That's
And then video producer producing a show at least once a week for us, and that's pretty much open to whatever you want to do as long as it's not Kickstarter, because we have a lot of Kickstarter stuff on our site. Which is a good segue.
Speaking of Kickstarter,
Yeah, this is a good segue. I want to talk about sites.
Quest.
Yes, the Yogventures, and in particular, I just want to talk about YouTubers thinking they can make video games in general. Why is this a thing?
Because YouTubers can do anything.
Exactly, except make interesting stuff. I'm guessing I watched a trailer. No, I love YouTube. I've been on it for since pretty close to the beginning. But I watched a trailer for Epic Rap Battles of History when I was going to the movies a month ago, and I was embarrassed for the internet because you can just see how kind of crappy that stuff is compared to everything that they're actually showing at the movie theater. Not that we were seeing Transformers and it sucked balls, but this still made me squirm in my seat. And I watch it at home sometimes. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no one's going to go to the theater and watch a YouTube video or show, obviously. But you can't say the same about a video game that someone's going to play at home. So maybe YouTube content creators can produce something good. We'll see.
Has everybody read this story? I mean, I read it. I read it before realizing that Gabe was interested in it. Do you guys know what's going on?
I haven't read it, no.
So basically, there's a popular couple of a pair of YouTubers that what do they have, like 7 million followers or something like that?
It's a huge kind of network now. They have like business people and all sorts of stuff.
So they kickstarted a game, raised like almost $600,000, and then I think they delivered an alpha and maybe some kind of a beta.
It was in some sort of early access stage, and it was supposed to be actually
And
good.
after that, they were like, well, actually, we're not going to be able to finish the game because one of the people that we gave $35,000 to do this left, and he won't give the money back, and we're not going to refund you any money, and also we're not under any obligation to do so, which I don't think is actually accurate. But
that's the scary thing. I mean, it's kind of scary about Kickstarter is that they're saying, we don't have any obligation to do so, but we're going to get you a game. And so they're giving them a game. It's called TUG, which is supposed to be sort of...
It's called Tug.
Oh, is it Tug? I thought it was TUG.
I mean, I read it as Tug.
Okay, I read it as...
Tug.
Anyway, so it's basically like a... well, it's sort of like a Minecraft-y game, but it's like an open world sort of adventure.
Okay, so it's like Minecraft.
Yeah, it's like Minecraft.
Minecraft, but like Minecraft.
I will say the Just Desserts though is the guy who left went to LucasArts, I think. So he probably lost his job pretty soon after he left.
I guess that's some consolation.
But I just want to, like, this is not an uncommon thing. There are several YouTubers, and I'm saying people who play video games for a living then decide that people want to play a video game as them. Besides these guys, there's been the Tobuscus Adventures game. I mean, he does other stuff, but which is just like a kill zombies and kind of sword and sorcery sort of thing. Then there was another one called Zombie Killer Squad, which is CNanners and Syndicate and a couple other people, and that's just a Temple Run clone. I don't know why they
There's
do
there's
this.
Gamester81 who was one of my favorite retro YouTubers until he said some very ignorant things about gay people. But he had some friend make an Atari 2600 game called Gamester81 the game, and
Oh, and AVG
And
and Adventures, but that one makes a little bit more
Yeah.
sense because he has a character.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought there was an AVGN game.
There's tons.
I know
of
there's
them.
a
The whole
movie.
episode. Yeah, there's the movie. Is actually out now in theaters. It's coming out, I guess, this fall to DVD and digital distribution and everything. But yeah, there's been tons of fan games. The official one though, it's supposed to be pretty good. It's just sort of supposed to be kind of inspired by the games he played. But that one does make sense because he's kind of made his own characters and stuff over the years.
Oh, yeah.
But these other ones, just like, hey, the people who play games that you kind of talk about. Well, we're gonna be starring in a game now. Fucking why?
okay, so let's actually get back to like sort of the impact of this Kickstarter stuff. Has anybody here actually contributed to a Kickstarter and then like gotten burned?
Not yet.
Thing was like a delay, but nothing like this.
Yeah, I
I've only contributed to 2 myself, so.
I was getting a little belligerent about the several Shovel Knight delays. But
Actually, it's Game of the
everybody told me I was stupid to expect that the game would actually come out when they said it would, which I don't actually think that I'm stupid to hold a developer to their word. But having said that, I'm super glad that the game was delayed because none of the stuff that they ended up putting in it, not even half of that stuff would have been in the final game if it had come out.
I mean,
Yeah.
if someone's asking you for money, you hold them and you expect what they say is going to be happening. That's just a fact of life. That's what you'd expect if you bought a burger and you asked for no pickles and they put pickles on it, you'd be pissed. And if you or I mean, this is a good example. It's stupid, but Domino's has their 30 minutes or less thing, and if it comes after that, it's not just okay.
I bought my Japanese 3DS XL, the one that I turned into a US one, from a company called, I can't remember, GCSX, and I needed it overnighted from New York when I was in California because I wanted to take it on the plane to Peru, and it was guaranteed by like 12 p.m. the next day, and it cost like $75 to ship, and it got there at 12:01.
Oh shit!
So I got in touch with UPS and got my entire shipping refunded.
Nice.
Nice.
What did they
People-
say when you told them that?
Actually, I don't remember what they said, but I do remember actually being on the phone. Well, actually, it came at 12:03, and I remember being on the phone at 12:01 saying, like, hey, I gotta get on a plane, where's my thing? And they're like, okay, we'll call the driver. And he showed up like 2 minutes later, and he just gave me this look like he was in trouble, and it was my fault. But people, like, I don't know. Yeah, that's somebody's job, but also remember this is like a huge corporation you should hold them accountable. And you should hold small companies accountable too. So when you kickstart, whatever. Anyway, maybe we should move
I
on.
mean, I think that's I still think it's very, very shady. And the other one that this is I guess almost even more controversial. I think the name of the game is it Eris or Ariel? I think is it. It's spelled weird.
No, that's my cockatiel.
Okay. So this was supposed to be like a. They said it was with a senior stalker developers, which was a great game that kind of Metro kind of took that whole sort of vibe of it too. And they claimed that Vladimir Putin wanted to play their game, and they got only $65,000 for what was supposed to be a massive open world game. People thought it was a scam, and so Kickstarter ended up canceling it. Of course, now they just went to direct funding.
Yeah, that
I
would
mean,
be hard.
That's another thing that is kind of interesting to me that I've been seeing that happen more and more lately. You get developers after their Kickstarter's over, they're like, hey, or you can donate directly to our PayPal account here, and it's like, it seems like there's like less oversight doing it that way.
Mighty Number 9 is the one that I think a lot of people are pissed about too.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. It just makes me feel icky
You
about.
can't hide what's inside, Michael. He
It
asked
just
for.
makes me.
I don't understand
He
how
asked for
they.
what, 500K, and he got like millions.
Well, what is the name of the girl who helps, the woman who helps Emily Rogers? You guys know who that is?
Is that an author in the
She
1800s?
writes for she writes for Nintendo Force, but she also has actually ended up being in a position to like help a lot of indie devs like get their games published for on the Wii U and 3DS, even though she doesn't work for Nintendo. But anyway, she made a very good point over and over that the day that news came out about the asking for more money for actors, that why did they need to spend $200,000 making a making of documentary?
Yeah.
When they could have used that money for voice acting. So.
Why are they making it a cartoon when the game's not out yet?
Well, that's like kind of that kind of got jumbled into the same thing, but some outside company had come to them and presented them like with that idea, and so the money for the show actually is not coming from the Kickstarter or the direct funding, but
okay.
But it was a bad timing for that to happen, and it made them look really like they couldn't manage.
I'm still waiting for a lawsuit to send the whole thing crumbling down, but I think that's just because it would make good news.
You're just looking for somebody to be mad at because you can't be mad at Iwata right now because he's sick
totally
or whatever.
Oh, I just don't want people to copy a game and try to pass it off as something new, which is what he's doing. And I know that.
Iwata?
Huh? No, Inafune.
Oh.
Anywho. So now I just want to move on, and this will be, I guess, our last big topic for the day. I skipped over some stuff that I felt wasn't as important in the scheme of things. But so the Destiny beta, we've all been, well, Brian, have you played it?
I just started playing.
Okay, so Michael and I played it, I'd say, fairly extensively, and you played the alpha too.
Yeah.
Have you had a chance to play it at all, Austin?
No, I haven't played the beta yet.
Okay. So
I don't know.
It's pretty much.
Too. Because
I
I
really
really like the alpha, but and I just don't want to get sick of the game beforehand.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm only at like level 5 now. I just haven't really felt like playing much, but most of the first half of the beta is identical to the alpha.
Yeah, that's what he was saying.
It's just basically like there are some more missions. You can go to the moon. You can go to Mars with like some kind of timed event. I think maybe that's happening again tomorrow at 5 o'clock.
Well, happening tomorrow, I know for sure, is that the moon mission is happening, and that hasn't happened before. The Mars one's weird.
Hold on. So the moon mission, it's like on the map, and it just says like not accessible yet.
Yeah.
Is it only accessible tomorrow at 5?
I think so,
Or
and
just
but when you
unlock
click on it, it says wait till the full game. It's just kind of a placeholder. The Iron Forge thing is basically just a multiplayer mission where the levels still matter, which I'm not a huge fan of. Because the original Crucible mission, the whole point is your levels don't matter so that it's fair for everyone playing each other. This one, it's like, okay.
Whose Destiny is it anyway, where the levels are made up and the
Points don't matter.
points don't matter?
Child's Destiny.
Oh boy. I hope there's not a lot of kids playing this game, but So far, like I wrote a little impressions piece. The story so far has been really boring to me, but when you get
Well,
into
I
the sort
mean,
of
of course, because they took the wizard out of the
yeah,
moon.
yeah, I mean
The most
they
interesting
they
thing
made
about
Peter Dinklage put a little bit more emotion or effort into his voice acting, so that destroyed everything. But
Honestly, they could have just dropped in clips of him in Elf, and it would have been a better
God,
performance.
but that okay. Let's be fair. That would make everything better.
Yeah,
Just
that's
have
true.
clips of Elf and the station agent over and over again.
What's the station agent?
That's a movie he did a little bit afterwards that probably should have won him an Oscar.
Did you say little?
That's
Gabe.
not very nice.
God damn it. You're an elf. Gosh, speaking of, do you think that actors get mad about having to be in Christmas movies if they're, the dwarf actors?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure some do.
Because it seems like,
Oh, you mean do little people get mad about having jobs? Is that what you're saying?
oh God,
No, I'm,
abort. I watched Little
no,
People
you
Big
mean
World and I
are they
empathize with
mad?
them.
Are they mad about having to wear like motley costumes and
I'm
primary colors and
yes,
bells on their head?
headgears. Yeah.
I'm sure that they are, but I'm not
God.
one, and I'm not going to speak for them. That makes me sound as ignorant as anything.
Anyway, what do
I
you
have
guys
a
think of
friend
the
who's a little.
Destiny beta so far?
Um, I think that yeah, same thing. What Austin was saying about why he doesn't want to play the beta is like when the alpha came out, I was like, oh, this is so great. I'm just gonna play it all weekend, and that's what I did. Like in this one, I'm like, I'm already feeling like I'm burned out on it just because I'm playing the same missions over and again, even though like some of them are slightly different, and it's just
Although
I'm kind of losing interest, which
I
is
was kind
kind
of
of like
happy though that they
the
didn't make it super long. Like you can beat this in a couple hours, but it really is just a tease, and I was kind of worried that they were going to give you too much. Um, God, game companies giving you too much for free would be terrible, but
Awful.
it's just the worst. But God, the gunplay for a game that is supposed to be shared world and there's a ton going on, the gunplay feels really, really good to me.
I agree. That's the
Yeah,
first thing that I picked up on.
Movement is a little bit heavy. I've heard some people mention it. The movement feels like Halo. The gunplay feels like Borderlands to me.
I can see those comparisons.
is that just
Um,
because the numbers popping up?
it's part of that, and part of it is that compare that to like Fallout, which has the same kind of principles. Being almost like an RPG with guns, but Fallout's combat feels horrible to me. That's why I don't like the games.
To you, yes,
Because I'm not going to do the VAT system, because that's stupid. But
because you're a goof.
yeah, totally. I tried to play New Vegas, and I was just like, I can't do this.
That's because New Vegas isn't as good as people say. It's no Fallout 3.
But anyway, the bosses are the weird thing that they felt very, very WoW, in that you had to spend like 20 minutes to cut them down with 2 or 3 other people helping you out.
Oh, and I sure love that when I fight a boss for 20 minutes and then the beta crashes.
Oh, that didn't
That
happen to
happened.
me. I
That
was I
happened
was
to
thinking
me.
the whole time,
That
if
happened to
people
me on
leave
the
now, I'm gonna
alpha.
find the people I'm playing with and murder them.
Yeah, that happened to me on the alpha, and I remember finding the guy who I was like in a fire team with and like asking him if he got kicked too, and he was like, "Yeah, my buddy's cussing over here." Yeah, not a happy time.
There's a dedicated dance button though, and it's pretty much the greatest thing in the world.
Oh, that reminds me. Funniest thing, like I had just landed on whatever Russia area.
New Old Russia, I think it's called.
Yeah, but whatever, like whatever mission I had selected, I had just landed, and I couldn't, for some reason, I couldn't remember how to switch guns, and so I pressed the dance button, and I'm like dancing, and my wife comes out, and she's like, "Why are you dancing?" And I was like explaining it to her, and then like MMOs and whatever, and it's like a form of easy communication for consoles, and anyway, so I was like rotating the camera around me while I dance, and like. As I rotated the camera, like suddenly there's a guy standing behind me, like pointing a gun at me, and I've just pressed like a button to stop it, but what I ended up pressing was the salute button. So like I was like doing this stuff, and then as soon as I see the guy, I was like,
What did he do?
nothing. But it was just one of those like accidentally comical moments that
Oh, I wish you had hit your share button and recorded that.
it would have been funny had I. I guess you just always have to be recording, otherwise you'll never catch those moments.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh! But like, man, I think the best moment. Those boss battles are great, but the moments where you're just fighting waves of the smaller enemies and you're just trying not to wipe over and over and over again. Like it feels like it'd be the most generic thing in the world because a lot of games have done it, but it works so well on this. The missions are just set up perfectly for it.
Think so?
Oh yeah.
No other thoughts on that, guys? I guess.
Have you
Austin
done the
played
competitive
alpha.
stuff at all?
I played the Crucible in the alpha, and I was like, I hate it. So I quit.
Okay, because I
I'll
really
never do
like
again.
it.
No,
Yeah,
but
I really liked
me, I don't
I was
like
winning.
that kind of game. I don't like
Yeah.
that kind of game. So
Well, and that's the thing. I didn't really expect something like that in a game like this, but I played it and I was like, this is better than it has any right to be.
well, what does that mean though? It's made by Bungie.
Well, but it's a game that
their stuff.
they always emphasize multiplayer in their competitive multiplayer in their other games, and they emphasized everything else in this. And it's obvious that they were putting a lot of effort into the other modes that for something like
Secretly.
this to
Yeah.
for something like this to still turn out so well just surprised me. Now there's nothing new about this at all. Like it's totally just
It's Halo.
I mean, it feels almost like Titanfall the way they had this set up, even with your movement a little bit.
Get
But
those boost jumps.
Gabe, are you
yeah.
still playing Titanfall?
Every once in a while I'll come back to it. The other day I turned it on again, but right now I'm playing Garden Warfare.
Titanfall's only been out for like 2 months, right? 3 months.
Since March, so
Oh, wow.
3.
4.
I guess I was just thinking because I only
No,
played it
almost
for the first time in June.
Yeah, I mean I played a ton. To be fair, I played a lot of it for a couple months, and then it was just kind of. I go through rotations. That's a game like. There are some games that I won't come back to after I play, and then there are games like that and like Battlefield that I'll keep coming back to, and that's one of them.
I got burnt out on Tomodachi Life. I decided
I
to read a
just
book.
got that, dude. I just got that.
I know you did. I was just gonna say, like, my wife is still playing constantly on my other 3DS, but every time I try to play it now, I'm like,
Yeah, let's talk about what we've been playing though, because besides I played that very briefly, and I'm in a pickle because I only have 3 characters on my 3DS.
and it
Besides,
won't let you bang dudes.
yeah, it won't let me bang dudes, and that's the problem. Because the only characters I have on my system, I have me, my mother, and Ron Jeremy. And so the only reason why I have Ron Jeremy on my system is because he was very easy to make in Meme Maker. But now I'm worried that I am going to end up. Well, I guess you can't because Nintendo boycott the game, right?
You have nothing to worry about.
Yeah. But
Is
all
Ron Jeremy
all
gay?
I want to do is marry Ron Jeremy in that game, and
Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
You're gay for Ron Jeremy is what you're saying. I was really
Mucho
confused.
gusto. Me llamo Bradley. Never mind. That's a Sublime song. So besides that, I've been playing a ton of Mario Golf World Tour.
I could tell it was a ton because the way you said it, you were like, a ton.
It is. I beat the Castle Club thing, which is real short. Now I'm doing the challenges to unlock the fun courses in the game.
Yeah.
But damn it,
Recommended.
that mountain championship was hard.
They get what's really almost impossibly hard is the I forget what it's called, but the Sky Island challenge thing. It's like the one on one putt challenge.
One pump jump.
No.
Oh.
And it's one on one putt where you basically have these tiny islands floating in the sky, like they're not much bigger than my living room, and you have one chance to get it on the near the hole, and then one putt, and if you don't make it, then you fail. But it's actually a really interesting course, and it unlocks it in multiplayer. So I recommend doing it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try to see. Like, just suck at putting in this game. The only reason why I finally beat Mario on the and I don't know, is it Bowser, Yoshi, Mario for everyone?
Mhm.
For like the three people you're trying to beat on the Three Castle Club?
I think so.
Okay. Because the only reason why I beat Mario and I need to get a -7 is because I got kind of lucky and I got really close to the hole on a couple of my shots. Because I got pretty good at, on the approach, but I can never get the hang of kind of gauging my putts. Every once in a
My
while I do.
recommendation to you is just get better.
Yeah, probably.
Get good.
I shoot short
But
a lot.
if you want to play multiplayer, whatever, let me know.
Yeah, or whatever. Yeah.
Austin, what are you playing?
Actually, Vagrant Story.
Well,
What? Hang on.
Whoa. Am I back?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
You played Vagrant Story.
Vagrant Story on Vita.
Like,
I played it when it first came out, but I never beat it, so I kind of wanted to try to beat it.
that game still has one of like the coolest, unique like presentations ever. It's so
Yeah, it's shot
neat
so
to look at.
cinematically, and it's got an awesome battle system.
well, like that whole comic book aesthetic, like it's super great. I never finished it, but I did play it when it first came out as well. And I have it on my Vita too.
Yeah, I'm liking it. Other than that, I was just playing Lady Sia and Ninja 5.0.
What do you think about Lady Sia? You guys, this is so I don't know if Gabe and Brian, if you know how Retro Weekend works, but basically I've been giving Austin 5 games to pick from, and he will write about one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, there's really no criteria other than these are the games that I'm thinking about this week. And I just happened to play this Game Boy Advance game, Lady Sia, for the first time recently, and was amazed by like how big it basically looks like a cartoon in a way that like you wouldn't expect.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect this to be on GBA.
Yeah, it looks more like an Xbox Live indie game or something like that. But anyway, but it's just a beautifully animated like puzzle platformer by an unknown developer.
Yeah, it's like a French studio, I think. I think they're closed down now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played that for a little bit and was really impressed with it. Usually, when you give me the 5 games for Retro Weekend, I'll normally look up all of them if I don't know them and kind of like either watch some videos or just read up on them and already start trying to think of like what I could write about for each game, and then I usually can figure out something right from there, and that's when I was like, Ninja stuff, gonna go with Ninja 5.0. Yeah. But I really wanted to play Lady Sia after I saw it in action. It's a gorgeous game.
I am looking forward to seeing what you think of Ninja 5.0. I'm going to edit your piece and publish it as soon as we get off here.
Cool.
Sweet.
And
Ninja 5.0,
Guacamelee too,
also known as Ninja Cop in Europe.
Ninja Cop.
And I've played a little bit of Guacamelee.
Guacamelee, I thought you said Pokemon Rumble. For some reason, I was like, what?
No. I would not play that. But Guacamelee, I just got up to the Super Mario Brothers reference pretty much, and I was like, huh.
Which one is that? You mean like a poster?
No, when you're getting chased and you get to the axe.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was like, was that supposed to be a Super Mario Brothers reference? And then I walked out and they said, your princess is in another castle. And I was like, okay, yeah.
Speaking of references, I actually noticed in Super Turbo Championship Edition that they actually wiped out a lot of the references a lot of memes that they included in the original version. Like the monkey. Yeah, the monkey in the shearling coat is MIA now, which is fine because nobody probably even remembers what I'm talking about when I say that. And there was like a new bit of dialogue about an Adele song, and yeah, whatever.
Not relevant anymore,
Of course.
I guess.
Well, it's relevant now. It wouldn't have been relevant when Guacamelee first came out, but anyway. Brian, what are you playing?
This.
You got a 3DS. What game
Whoa.
is it?
Look at
Hold
that!
on.
I
Hold
joined the rest of Invisible Gamer in having a Nintendo console.
Hold on. Hold that back up and hold it still for a second. I want to see what game you have running.
I think it might be a little too bright.
Might be the menu.
Oh,
It looks like he's currently playing Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D. What do you think of it?
I like it a lot.
it's hard as
I haven't
shit,
gotten
isn't it?
very far, but I like it a lot.
Do you know
Yeah,
what's
it is. And I'm
do you know
still in
what's
the
even
first
harder?
couple of levels.
Tropical breeze?
Tropical breeze,
That game's
blast,
hard
whatever.
too. I'd say they're about the same from what I played so far of each.
Brian, I'm really happy that you get to experience that for the first time on 3DS because the Wii version was not garbage, but it was all but garbage because of the awful waggly control scheme. It's such a gorgeous game, such great design, such a great sound design, ruined because like a critical move is like the roll, right, which gives you momentum for longer jumps. But in order to do that roll, you have to shake the Wii remote like this, and like it just didn't work all the time. So
That's what I was thinking actually with Muramasa. I've been playing that on the Vita because it was a PS Plus game, and like I was thinking, how the hell did people play this on the Wii?
Well, wasn't it?
I think it was
I had it. I had it briefly, and I remember playing it with classic controller.
Oh,
so.
okay, maybe that was what people did.
Hmm.
Because that game, like, it feels like it's made for the Vita.
What other games
Yeah.
did you end up getting for the 3DS, Brian? Did you get Zelda
I
and
haven't
Mario?
I'm going to get Mario and Zelda, but I was hoping to get in on that Best Buy buy one get one deal.
It sucks
But
balls,
they sold
doesn't
through
it?
all their stock at all their stores, and it's awful. Yeah,
It's
I'm
in
so
That's
store
why
as
pissed.
well.
I got Mario Golf. That's the only reason I got
No, it was in store and online.
Hmm.
It was in store and online, but they sold through all of their stock online as well as in store,
Like in like 2 minutes?
like in a couple days.
I see.
But
Got
I just got back from Disneyland, so it's not like I had a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let
Going
me put it
into
this
this
way. I
weekend.
was doing it too because I wanted to get some of those games. And Mario Golf I could find, but I wanted Bravely Default as my second game because everyone said that's so great, and it's a JRPG, so I wouldn't buy it on my own, but I'm like, you know what, if I can do this, I'll get it.
Yeah.
That game was only available an hour away. There's tons of Best Buys in Pittsburgh. The only one I could find in it was an hour away, and I'd have to drive through the city, so I wasn't going to do that. And then Tamagotchi Life was like the only other game on the list that I could actually get sent to my house.
Got it. That's why you got Tomodachi Life.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way,
Yeah,
Brian,
there's literally
I do have to
nothing
say,
left now.
Well, the deal
When I
ends tomorrow, too.
when I saw your Disneyland video, like surprise him at Disneyland,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that your girlfriend was also there,
Oh.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I wasn't listening, like I was in a client meeting or something, and I had your video on mute, and I was watching it,
Right.
and you're like standing against the wall, and as soon as you pan the camera, I'm like, oh, is it Disneyland? I've been there like, probably 40, 50 times in my life, so immediately, like as soon as I saw some open air beside that wall, I knew where you were.
Yeah.
And
that was her reaction too. She was like, "Oh my gosh!" The second I moved away from the wall, he's here.
But because I didn't realize your girlfriend was there, but because it was also like her birthday, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what the fuck kind of surprise is that? Hey, guess what? I'm at Disneyland.
I'm a total dick. I'm here and you're not.
Yeah, I was confused, too. How do you surprise someone at a place they're already at?
No, that's actually no, because when we went to the week after we went to Peru, our friends were at Disneyland, and we surprised Heidi was at Disneyland for her birthday, and we surprised her by being there at breakfast when she went for breakfast the first day. So it's very easy and fun to do those kind of things.
Yeah.
I just didn't realize that she was there. I thought you were like, surprises that I'm here at Disneyland, and I'll get you a plush or something.
Yeah. No, she was there. She had no idea I was going to be there. I set it up with her sister, and her sister got her off of the ride that they had just finished, and I was waiting for him at the castle, and she watched the video and then found me in front of the castle. So
Very cool.
That was
Internet.
easier.
You were not in another castle. Is what you're saying.
I was not in another
On
castle. I
that
was in.
note, we're ending the show because I'm not going to do any better than
No. Hey, what about? I played games too.
Oh, did you?
Also, I was gonna call Brian Mr. Magic Love Daddy because he is.
I played a bunch of
Back
other
in
games
the-
other than Donkey Kong as well, but we can move
Oh,
on
what
to
game?
Michael.
That's fine.
I've been playing. It's been a while since I've been on the show, so I've played a bunch of stuff. I finished SteamWorld Dig on Vita. That's awesome. Almost done with Transistor. Really like that, and we will eventually have a review of that. But I'm taking my time on that one because it's a great game.
I love that game. I really liked it.
It's so
I
good.
still haven't tried it because I didn't like Bastion.
It plays similar to Bastion, but the story and the feel of it are very different.
Right.
And the
Yeah.
combat's very different.
Well, I've been playing Watch Dogs again. I just finally finished Act 2, so I'm like,
You're about
Or did
halfway through.
I think I just did the big mission at Iraq's place
Hmm.
that ends on a roof.
Oh,
That was
God,
super cool.
fight's
I felt
stupid.
Yeah, the fight was stupid. I felt like I was in an episode of The Wire though, like up until that part, and that part was super cool. And I had just been getting kind of bored with the game, so I've been playing that most of the week. But I'm also playing Sonic Advance, and a Lady Sia a little bit, and Alien Hominid for Game Boy Advance. Because I'm waiting still. I'm kind of like, I'm in Game Boy Advance mode because I'm still waiting for that Game Boy from Rose Colored Gaming. They sent me my replacement, but I think it's going to take like a week still to get here. So, yep, that's what I'm playing. Not very interesting. Oh, and Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. I finally played.
I need to get back into that still, and I need to finish Mario, the tournaments or the Grand Prix in Mario Kart. I still haven't finished those.
I actually did also start playing the original Donkey Kong Country again because I've never beaten it, and now
That's so good.
And now I'm in like the snow world, which is the farthest I've ever been, and it's hard as balls, and it's like frustrating.
That game in general is just hard as balls.
But yeah, just
Okay.
been getting into a lot of old stuff lately because I got that Retron 5.
So keep reading. If you want to write for us, send me a message, and we will see you next week.
Brownies.
Hey.